Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. First off, I am going to apologize ahead of time if I sound a little weird or wonky or lispy for this video. I actually had a little surgery last week and still have stitches in my mouth, so things are a little funky. But liberty waits for no one. So bear with me for this and the next two videos actually, because I'm banging them all out in one night. Might regret that later. Anyway, in recent news, the judges in the Bianchi case came out and exposed some of the underhanded tactics going on in the Fourth Circuit and how the judges who ruled in favor of keeping Maryland's assault weapons ban used underhanded tactics and manipulation to keep the ban in place. For those not familiar, or who, like me, sometimes need refreshers on which Second Amendment case is for what thing, the Bianchi case went after Maryland's assault weapons ban, which bans many common use firearms like ARs and AKs and their variants. The Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals heard the case en banc, which means that all the judges heard it and participated, and last week the majority ruled in favor of the law, going against the Supreme Court and saying that the ban was constitutional. Oh yeah, definitely already regretting this decision. Oh well, we're just gonna keep going. In a 65-page decision, the majority wrote, "The assault weapons, referring to the common AR-15 rifle, at issue fall outside the ambit of protection offered by the Second Amendment because, in essence, they are military-style weapons designed for sustained combat operations that are ill-suited and disproportionate to the need for self-defense." The decision has been appealed, and the Second Amendment Foundation is attempting to take it to the Supreme Court. Now, a dissenting judge wrote an 87-page opinion that revealed some of the shenanigans in the court. The revelation is stuck into a footnote on page 2. This unorthodox procedural posture bears some explanation. After hearing the case in December 2022, the initial panel majority reached a decision and promptly circulated a draft opinion. Yet, for more than a year, no dissent was circulated. The panel thus held the proposed opinion in accordance with our custom that majority and dissenting opinions be published together. 1 year later, as the proposed opinion sat idle, a different panel heard arguments in the United States v. Price, which also involved interpreting and applying Bruin. The Price panel quickly circulated a unanimous opinion that reached a conclusion at odds with the Bianchi's majority's year-old proposed opinion. Facing two competing proposed published opinions, the court declined to let the earlier circulated opinion control. Rather, in January 2024, we invoked the once extraordinary mechanism of an initial en banc review. I hope that we will not find ourselves in the posture again soon, suggesting that the majority opinions may be issued without awaiting dissenting opinions to prohibit those dissenting judges or dissenting opinions from exercising a pocket veto to deny or delay fairness and justice. Now, that is a little wordy, so before I break that down into more layman's terms, I would like to tell you all about a company with a really cool business model that helps gun owners stock up on ammo in a subscription-y way that allows them to avoid big shortages, invest, and works for any budget. Ammo Squared helps you stay stocked up on ammo automatically with a set-it-and-forget-it approach that lets you pick your calibers, your monthly budget, and how often you want it shipped, so you never have to worry about ammo shortages or changing prices locally or online ever again. This monthly budget can be anything from the price of a few boxes to the price of a single round if that's how much you can spare. Everything about it is fully customizable. There's no minimum to buy, no membership fees, and all ammo is factory new from brands that you trust. They only ship it when you want it, and the rest of the time it is stored for you in a climate-controlled environment. So, thank you to Ammo Squared for providing such a cool service to gun owners since 2015. Now back to these shenanigans. The short version here is that the initial panel had ruled in favor of the Second Amendment in December 2022. But a dissenting judge delayed circulating their opinion in order to stall the release of the majority opinion. This allowed another panel to rule against the second in another case, which then conflicted with the original Bianchi decision. So then that made the Fourth Circuit have to rehear the Bianchi case with a full panel of judges, and then now we have the anti-gun opinion. AmmoLand lays it out in a nice little timeline. Initial proceedings and delays. In June 2022, the Supreme Court issued the Bruin decision impacting many Second Amendment cases. The Bianchi case was sent back to the Fourth Circuit for reconsideration in light of Bruin. In December 2022, a 3-judge panel heard oral arguments and soon reached a pro-Second Amendment decision. Now, strategic stalling. The dissenting judge in the panel strategically withheld their dissenting opinion for over a year, preventing the pro-Second Amendment decision from being published. Meanwhile, another panel within the Fourth Circuit issued a unanimous anti-gun ruling in a different case, setting up a conflict with the pending Bianchi decision. Finally, the en banc review. Faced with conflicting opinions, the Fourth Circuit invoked an en banc review, delaying the case further. In March 2024, the en banc court heard the case, ultimately ruling against the Second Amendment, aka we have what looks very much to be an activist judge. And not just an activist judge as in, like, issuing opinions that go against big decisions like Bruen, but are more towards their personal beliefs. But an activist judge in that they were purposefully, underhandedly manipulating the courts to get the verdict that they wanted. At least, that is very much how it looks. Now, is there going to be any recourse for this? Unlikely. It is unethical, but are they going to do anything about it? Doubtful. Courts hold back opinions all the time while they wait for other cases to be decided. So while it's underhanded, manipulative, and arguably very unethical, you would have to prove somehow that that's why the judge did it, and it looks like only one person is speaking out. So I doubt that we are going to see anything coming out of this new revelation, but it's at least something to know exists. The good takeaway here is that at least the initial opinion was in favor of gun rights, and now that the case is going to be appealed up to the Supreme Court, either SCOTUS will take it up or force the lower courts to reconsider under Bruen. This isn't the only assault weapons ban that has been upheld. Looking at you, Illinois. But the other good thing here is that advocates say that the Maryland ruling in the Bianchi case was so bad that in the end, it'll still work in favor of gun rights. It flies in the face of not only Bruen, which was completely ignored, but also Heller and common use. Now, when Clarence Thomas declined to take up the Illinois case, he said it was because there were still cases in lower federal courts without final opinions. The Illinois case still has a trial date in September, but the terrible Maryland decision was final ruling, so it's likely to be the case that gets to SCOTUS first if the judges decide to hear it. Either way, I cannot see how these shenanigans are completely ignored if it gets up to Supreme Court, or how this bad decision can ultimately be upheld when it goes against the current, now established letter of the land, which is history and tradition. All right, folks, that is it for this video. I still have 2 more to record. And honestly, it's not feeling great, so I am not going to do the whole fancy outro. You guys know the drill for the algorithm things. And as always, thanks for tuning in, and happy shooting.